The morning air inside the View studio buzzed with excitement. The audience clapped wildly as country superstar Carrie Underwood took her seat beside the hosts. She looked stunning, her calm smile glowing under the bright lights, her voice soft yet confident. The segment was meant to be cheerful. Carrie was there to promote her new album about faith, strength, and love. But beneath her polite smile, she could sense tension. Joy Behar, the outspoken co-host known for her sharp humor, had been unusually quiet before the cameras rolled. And when Joy was quiet, everyone knew something was coming. 2. The interview started warmly enough. Light questions about motherhood, music, and life on tour. Carrie answered gracefully, her southern charm winning the crowd. But as the topic shifted toward her beliefs and her decision to speak publicly about faith and values, Joy leaned forward with that familiar smirk. So, Carrie, she began, you've talked a lot about prayer and God lately. Don't you think that kind of talk can alienate people who don't share your views? The question wasn't cruel, but the tone cut like glass. Carrie blinked, stunned. She had faced critics before, but something about the way Joy said it, on national television, in front of a live audience, made her heart pound. 3. Carrie took a slow breath, trying to keep her voice steady. Joy, she said gently, I never try to alienate anyone. I just share what gives me peace. Joy raised an eyebrow, clearly ready for debate. Sure, she said, but some might say that using a platform like yours to talk about religion can be divisive. The audience murmured, some clapped, some frowned. Carrie smiled politely, but inside, she felt the sting. She wasn't angry, not yet, but tired. Tired of being told to hide the things that made her who she was. For years, she had been careful not to offend, not to speak too boldly. But that day, something inside her shifted. 4. She looked at Joy, not with fury, but with deep sadness. You know, Carrie said softly, I sing about love because I believe in it. I talk about faith because it's the reason I get out of bed every morning. If we can talk about everything else in this world, hate, politics, fear, why can't we talk about hope? Her voice cracked, real and raw. The crowd went silent. Even the camera crew hesitated, unsure whether to zoom in or cut away. Joy tried to respond, but Carrie continued, her voice trembling but strong. We all have something that keeps us going. For me, it's faith. For someone else, it might be art, or family. But why tear each other down for believing in something that heals? 5. Joy shifted in her seat. The confidence in her face faded, replaced by discomfort. I didn't mean, she began, but Carrie gently raised her hand. I know you didn't, she said, and I'm not angry. I just think we've forgotten how to listen. We don't have to agree. We just have to be kind. The words echoed across the studio. The audience started clapping, first softly, then louder. Carrie smiled faintly, but her eyes were glassy with tears. It wasn't the applause she wanted, it was understanding. She had come to talk about music but ended up standing for something far deeper, the right to speak from the heart without being judged. 6. After the segment ended, the producers cut to commercial, and the tension backstage was thick. Carrie stood quietly, unhooking her microphone. A few crew members approached her with nervous smiles, offering reassurance. She nodded politely but didn't speak. She wasn't angry, she was shaken. Moments later, Joy walked over, her face softer, guilt shadowing her usual wit. Carrie, I hope you know I didn't mean to attack you, Joy said carefully. Carrie looked up, her expression calm but weary. I know, Joy, she said. It's just, sometimes people forget there's a real person behind the celebrity. Joy nodded, silent for once. 7. When the show aired, clips of the exchange spread like wildfire. Headlines screamed, Carrie Underwood walks out after fiery clash with Joy Behar. And, faith versus fire on The View. Social media exploded. Fans defended Carrie passionately, while critics argued about free speech and faith on television. But amid the chaos, one short clip went viral more than any other. The moment Carrie said, we don't have to agree. We just have to be kind. That sentence hit home for millions. It was replayed, quoted, and shared with captions like, this is what grace looks like. 8 days later, Carrie posted a single message on her social media, a white background with black text, kindness doesn't mean silence. It wasn't defensive or bitter. It was peaceful, resolute. Underneath, she wrote, everyone has the right to speak their truth with love. Within hours, her message gathered millions of likes and thousands of heartfelt comments from fans who saw her not just as a singer, but as a symbol of compassion in a divided world. Even Joy shared the post on her own account with a brief note, learning every day. The gesture touched Carrie deeply. 9. A week later, producers invited Carrie back to The View. Many expected her to decline, but she surprised everyone by accepting. When she walked back onto the stage, the applause was thunderous. This time, Joy greeted her with open arms. I owe you an apology, Joy said publicly, her voice shaking. Sometimes I let debate drown out decency. Carrie smiled gently. You don't owe me anything, she replied. You just reminded me that kindness still matters, even when it's hard. The audience stood, applauding through tears. It was no longer a moment of conflict, it had become a moment of healing. 10. After the show, as Carrie left the studio, she paused outside to take a deep breath. The air felt lighter, the city noise distant. She thought about how easily people misunderstood each other, how quickly words turned into wounds. But she also thought about how forgiveness could turn those wounds into wisdom. Later that night, she wrote a new song, a soft ballad about grace, empathy, and the courage to stay kind in a harsh world. It would become one of her most loved songs, not because it topped charts, but because it spoke truth. And somewhere, watching from her home, Joy Behar smiled, realizing that sometimes the most powerful conversations are the ones that break us open just enough to let the light in.